1, 2, 3, 4. All right, this month we're going to go over some ideas for sort of fill playing, all right? That's sort of in between your straight up rhythm and lead guitar playing. And it's going to be pretty simple. We're going to stick to the open position and 2 scales, one for each chord. We're just playing a simple progression of G, C, and back and forth. Okay, and the applicable scales for those two, pardon that, are G major pentatonic over the G and C major pentatonic over the C, all right? And over the C also, I'm sometimes slipping in a, all right, or F sharp there. Actually, one time over the G too. Yeah, that's got an F sharp in it as well. Okay, so to each one we're adding an F sharp, all right? But the basic thing are these pentatonic scales, all right? And in case you're not familiar with those, that's we'll go over those now so that you've got your vocabulary of scales for understanding where these licks are coming from, all right? Over the G chord, all right, I'll put a diagram on the screen as well here. The notes are G, A, B, D, and E, and then back to G, A, B, D, and E, and back to G again, all right? So that's the root, the second, third, fifth, and the sixth, okay? So it's like the triad, the root, third, fifth, plus the second and the sixth. And then, like I said, pass through that F sharp a little bit too, all right? And that kind of helps hint that we're really in the key of G here, okay? That's a 1-4 in G and not a 5-1 in C, which it could have been as well. Okay. And over the C chord, okay, the scale that we're using is going to be the C major pentatonic, and that's C, D, E, okay, and then a G, an A, and then back to C, right, D, E, G, all right, and we can continue going up to the A and landing even back up here on the C again, all right. Anyway, we're sticking down in the low open position. Okay, now the notes of those 2 scales differ only by one note, all right? With G major pentatonic, you've got the notes G, A, B, D, and E. And over C major pentatonic, you've got C, D, E, okay? C's being the only difference between the two here, and the C doesn't have a B in it, okay? So look at what I've put up on the screen there. All right, so that shows us in order to really make these lines sound good, what we want to do is focus on the difference between the scales, okay? The common tones really help, like hanging on a G. Okay, that can help bind your guitar lines together, but focusing on getting to one of those notes that's changing. Okay, that really helps move the lines along and show that you're really addressing each chord. Okay, so that'll be one of the things. I'll go through a few of these things I just played here, these lines, and you can see how they're built and that we're kind of aiming to get to one of those notes that's different. All right, so let's just take them one by one. I started off on a G chord, and then we're coming down here. I'm going to move my hand out of the way. Okay, so the line starts off like this, with an open B string, and then down to the A, down to the G, and then we're going to ascend like this. D, hammer onto the E, and then the G string, the B string, and then we're landing here, and that really speaks to us as being the C chord, all right? All right, so that really outlines that progression. That really helps the line move along. Okay, then over the C, we want to come back down and go back to the G chord. Okay? Okay, that becomes the next line. All right, and these final notes are really played with the downbeat of the next chord, so they kind of sound all together. Okay, so focusing on getting that C in there. All right, play plenty of the C, and then when you move to the G, the C is gone, and we're back to playing a B note, and it really, you feel that motion, okay? That's key to coming up with any kind of good lines on the guitars, is following these notes that are different between the chords, all right? So those were those first two. That's a cool kind of combination line. We're holding this high G, all right, and then strumming the D and G strings and changing notes here on the B string, okay, which makes for a really cool sound. Okay, and then, again, that line really guides our ear. That's a real simple line there, so dressing it up with these other sustained notes gives it a little bit more depth and interest. Okay, one of my favorite things is adding in open strings, okay? As you can see in some of the other lessons I've posted. Okay, and that's a real simple lick here. We're just sliding from the E up to an F sharp and letting that G string ring. Okay, and we're pulling off down to the D, so it's... Okay, and that's one where the G note became something that's in common. Okay, so those common tones can sometimes blend across there, and with that sort of sustaining G ringing in there, it gives it a really nice atmosphere. Okay, let's see, what did I do after that one? Then came that descending line in G there. Okay, again, aiming to get to the C, coming from G down to F sharp, down to D, down to B. All right, from the G string to the A, and then up to the B string and the C. Okay, and that again landing on the C chord. Okay, then we got an understated line coming on the C after that. Okay, now this one's really cool. You want to not do these active lines all the time. Now, what I'm playing here is also not something you'd probably play during a verse, maybe more like an introduction or to accompany somebody playing something else during a solo. All these lines here would step on other melodic elements. So, this is just, I'm doing a whole bunch of them so you can get some ideas, for creating your own. Okay, but, a good, more subtle one over C. Okay, check that out. We're playing both the D and the G strings, and we're hammering on the D string up onto E and back off again. And then here from the B, hammering from the B to the C, and the open D and open G strings. Okay, and again, that's that sort of ringing sound that blends from C over into G instead of trying to catch the exact change that moves down. Of course, you're holding this C, all right, and that moves down nicely. So that's in there, So that one. and then giving it a rest on the G the next time. Okay, that's real simple, almost like less is more after this one. Okay. Okay. All right, and then I think I ended it off with a... We get a little bit out of the open position there, but that's a cool lick anyway, just a cool little like end turnaround thing. Okay, taking that little bit of the G chord up here. All right, and that's kind of sounding like the C in this shape here. And then sliding down here. Okay, that's part of the G bar chord like this, and then just moving down. Pretty typical kind of more country blues kind of sound there. All right. Okay, so you're looking at focusing on getting through the scale, picking on strong beats, picking chord tones, and using these other ones to move and find those deciding notes. The difference between scale over G, which has the B in it, and the scale over C, which has that C in it. Okay, because that B, C moving back and forth is the thing you want to follow. So try to use these simple scales, come up with some lines of your own, and really, when in doubt, focus on finding those important notes and how they move and making that the beat before the next chord. Okay? So thanks again for joining us. I hope this lesson's also been helpful. And I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of DVDs starting this winter with this guitar perspective only. They're going to be also available for download, and a lot more practical ideas like this. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next month. 1, 2, 3, 4.